Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at Swedish Armed Forces Day, because Gaijin has a little special for it, which is for the SAV 2012-48. Basically, from today until the 17th of January, so a few days, the SAV is once again available. And the reason for this is because on this day in 1521, it was the first volunteers signed up for the personal guard of Gustav Vasa, who soon became the first king of Sweden. In the 17th century, during the 30 Years' War, the Swedish army became famous as one of the strongest in Europe. Sweden remained neutral during both of the world wars, but I don't think nowadays you could class them as neutral. Anyway, let's have a look at the SAV in the game, and if you want kind of a quick TLDW, it's a fantastically fun vehicle, and I would highly recommend it. So let's have a look at the SAV 2012-48 in the game. This vehicle is a tank destroyer, and also it is rank 3. And being rank 3 means that you can do all of your dailies and all of your specials with it, and also all of the events, which makes it really fun to play. The survivability of the vehicle is pretty much 0. You don't play this because it's survivable, like a lot of other tank destroyers. Instead, this one is more of a whippet that you use to flank and then bang bang with the gun. The vehicle has access to a 400 horsepower engine, which is pretty good for it, and also has a good top speed going forward and a reverse speed as well, which, to be honest, you don't really find too much at this BR. So what you can do is you first spawn this thing, you get to an aggressive position, you use the gun, and then you can retreat, go to a different position, and keep doing it like that. And the reason why you can do that is because you have this 120mm auto mat cannon, and it has access to 6 pieces of a kind of autoloader, which have a reload of 1.2 seconds. So you can just bang, 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 and then get out of there, and then reload and do it again, and it can be incredibly powerful. Now, one of the only issues with this thing is the penetration on the round isn't exactly great. It's an APC-BC round, which pens 95mm and also 77 and 38 at 60, which isn't great, but if you penetrate the target, guess what? You overpressure it. So because you do that, all you have to do is make sure to penetrate and the target will die. And that is obviously very good for the vehicle, and means that as long as you know where the weak spots are on vehicles, you will have a great time with this vehicle. It has really good gun depression as well, and the reason why you first spawn it and you don't like second spawn it is, first of all, you have stuff like the Panzer IV, which you can use as a second spawn, which generally is a lot better. You also have some other kind of things, such as AAs, which you can bring along, which is quite good. The Sherman 3-4 premiums at this BR as well, which is very nice to run with this lineup. And also you have some pretty fun planes with the J22B and also the J26, if you have that from the Battle Pass. But the reason why you first spawn it is because this gets nuked by CAS, and that's a problem with it. It's open-topped, as you can see here, but also the rest of it only is 10 or 15mm worth of armor, so it's very easy to destroy with a plane. And that means, since there are no planes at the start of the battle, you want to use this quite aggressively at the start to be able to sort them out, and then once the planes start coming in, if you die, it's not a surprise, and hopefully you've done enough damage by then to justify your existence. So yeah, it's a vehicle which is super fun. It's one of those which is a good start into the Swedish tech tree if you've never played it before, and also one where you can get all of your different daily specials, challenges, and everything done, and have a good time with it. So when it comes to premiums like the SAV, they were removed and then they temporarily get brought back for these types of events. And this is something that Gaijin's been doing the last few years, probably as kind of like a FOMO tactic for specific vehicles, and also targeting certain holidays like they used to do with stuff like decals and things like that, which they still do, but not as much as they used to. Now, for me, when it comes to these types of little events where they kind of bring back vehicles for you to buy, it doesn't really feel great, if I'm honest. They don't like discount the vehicle, or they don't really give you any incentive to do anything. It's just buy the vehicle itself. And I feel like there could be little ways that they could improve this and make it so maybe, you're incentivized to play the game a little bit in order to get some discounts or in order to, get access to the vehicles. So I thought about some methods that they could use to try and incentivize that instead of, hey, vehicles available for 3 days. Oh, if you miss it, you don't know when it's going to be back. Oh, better buy it now. Stuff like that. So wouldn't it be much better in terms of stuff like the SAV is if they did this type of event, but they made it like a week long, and then they put in like a stipulation of, oh, well, if you grind, let's say 20,000 mission score or 40,000 mission score with Swedish vehicles, or even something like Swedish tank destroyers, which there aren't that many of, but let's say, you go for that, then, hey, maybe you get like a 10% discount on this vehicle, or maybe you get like a 15% discount on this vehicle, or maybe you could unlock one of the camos for it if you were going to purchase it, because of course it does have some G camos on top of the ones which are available. So you could give people an incentive not just to buy these things, but also to play the game, which I feel like is two sides of the coin and therefore they're meeting together. Another area I thought would be quite fun to do this with is with something like the Pages of History. Imagine with the Pages of History, right? So you have Vasily Matsievich right now. He is a Russian pilot. They flew a ton of different vehicles, mainly stuff like the I-16 that he flew, which is what's in his profile picture, but also stuff like the Spitfire Mark 9, which of course was around. What if you completed all of the Pages of History stuff and for those vehicles, because if you didn't know, there is a premium version of the I-16. It's the I-16 Type 28, and then also there is the Spitfire Mark 9C. What if you ended up completing the Pages of History and maybe it gave you a little discount on the Spitfire or on the I-16? So therefore it incentivizes people to get involved in the history of the Pages of History and also to play the vehicles as well if they want to purchase them. And same with Creighton Abrams, who was in the last one, and many of the other ones which have been around are obviously linked to vehicles in the game, which you could give offers to. So this is just a way of once again incentivizing people to be able to purchase stuff, but also getting them to play the game in order to get those incentives. So it's kind of like the way that events work, and I generally think that is the way to go. One of my favorite areas of the game is kind of the events, right? The events that come around quite a lot, and it means that you can kind of hyper-focus on specific things and kind of relax in other areas. And I think they've made some very positive strides this year, and also obviously last year, when it comes to events, making them individual for vehicles, and also at the same time, adding in the ability to be able to GE the event marks for a discounted price if you get most of the mark done. So this obviously is a lot easier for people. And also by breaking them down in different events, it also means that you can kind of pick which event you want to do. And as you get through the marks, obviously technically it gets more discounted because you don't have to pay as much GE for the vehicle if you want to do that, or you can just grind it out completely and you don't have to worry about the GE at all. What if in other little events like this SAV one, they did that too? Imagine if you could pay SL for a test drive, or maybe even some free experience, or convertible research points for a test drive for the SAV during this type of event, and you could, get X amount of RP with it, or X amount of mission score with it, and that would give you a discount on the actual GE sale of the vehicle. This would also give you an opportunity to try the vehicle if you hadn't done it before. So something like that could also work in this situation. They also did some pretty cool specials. I can't remember when exactly it was. It might have been in 2023 or 2024, where they did this weird meme series on their Russian YouTube short side of things, which meant that you could get access to specific packs, which were available for certain vehicles. One of them was the T-3485E, one of them was the IS-2. There was also one for the Panzer IV the SPG Panzer IV. I can't remember exactly its name. I'll just have a look right now. But they did these kind of little packs, which were kind of cool. The Panzer 470A was the one that it did. And basically, you got a profile picture on it. You got like a funny title. You got the vehicle itself. And then you also got something else, which I can't remember. So basically, what this means is you have a cool situation where you are able to actually get these vehicles, get the profile, and also, get the title. But if you already had the vehicle, what you could do is you could grind it out anyway. You could get access to the profile, and you could access to the title by just playing the game with the vehicle. What if they took this kind of system and did something similar to it in terms of these little events here? If you actually get the vehicle itself during the event, maybe if you grind it out to a specific point, then you can get access to a camouflage that's on it. Or maybe you can get access to an old decal, which was part of a Swedish event in the past. Because that's another thing that we are getting into right now when it comes to War Thunder. There are a bunch of different decals which have been kind of like sat around for the longest time. For example, if you just have a look at the Swedish area, you have the Scania emblem, which is the emblem of the P7 South Scanian Regiment of the Swedish Army. You have the emblem of the Uppland Regiment, stuff like the emblem of the Swedish Land Warfare Center, even stuff like the North Scania emblem or the emblem of the A9 Artillery Regiment. All of these types of decals were available in either previous events, previous battle passes, or previous areas. So imagine if during this SAV event, it's like, hey, you want access to this old decals? Well, if you grind X amount of mission score with the SAV, you can get access to them too. Just giving people a little bit more of an incentive while also using pre-existing content to get these vehicles and play them. Because you need to constantly evolve when it comes to selling things. You can't just, sell the same thing over and over and over again. And I feel like with these like little mini events, it's fully reliant on FOMO and not reliant on other things. And I feel like just spreading the love across some of the other ideas might be a way to go. As always, let me know your suggestions, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.